Homeworks 1.5, questions 15, 17, 27, and 31. Okay, so we have an A on both sides. When you have a variable on both sides, like with any problem, we start with PEMDAS, right? We always start with PEMDAS, parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division from left to right, addition, subtraction from left to right. But as you look at here, you're like, well, no parentheses, no exponents, multiplication, division's done, addition, subtraction's done, right? So now we go to the next step. And the next step is called transition. Okay? So, again, I created this step. Okay? I made up the name. Okay? So you're not going to see it in books and stuff. Books don't call it transitions. A lot of books don't call it PEMDAS. You know, some books do. But transition is just letting me know that I'm transitioning. I'm moving from PEMDAS into SADMAP. But before I can do solving, before I can solve for SADMAP, I have to get my x's, I have to get my variables on one side. Right? And so a lot of books will teach you, move it to the left. Move it to the left. Right? And in pre-algebra, they taught you that a lot. Okay? Probably. I don't know. Alright? I don't like that. Moving to the left gets you in trouble. Because later on, in chapter 2, we're going to do inequalities. And in inequalities, then you come up with that rule that says, oh, if you multiply by a negative number, then you got to flip the sign. Okay? Well, you never, almost never, multiply by a negative number if you follow your transition step appropriately. In other words, when I transition, I always move the lowest variable. Okay? Okay, I'm always going to move the lowest variable. Alright? So, what that means is, I look at the two variables and I say, what's lower? 4 or 7?
4.
Simple, right? Okay? 4. 4 is lower. So I'm going to move the 4. How do I move it?
Subtract.
That's right, OPP, right? How can I explain it? We're using OPP from now until you're in calculus. Okay? OPP. Always the opposite. Always the opposite. Since it's plus 4, I'm going to add a negative 4. I'm going to subtract 4. However you want to think about it. Whatever makes it easy in your head, do it. Right? What you do one side, do the other. Okay? I got 3a minus 17 equals 1. And now we're right back to SADMAP. Okay? We transitioned from PEMDAS to SADMAP. SADMAP, remember, subtraction and addition, they're linked. Division, multiplication, they're linked. And exponents and parentheses, we'll talk about at a later date. Alright, so I do the opposite of minus 17. What's the opposite of minus 17?
Plus.
Perfect. What do I do to one side? Do the other. Come on, people. Alright, got to join in. It helps. Alright, so I got 3a equals 18. What is the opposite of 3 times? Division. Why am I always saying 3? Why did I grab 3? Why don't I say what's the opposite of 18? Right?
Because you're trying to get the variable alone.
Yeah, the whole key to solving is getting the variable alone. Okay? So we peel off the onions that are the easiest. Ever peel an onion? Right? The onion has this nasty, hard, crappy shell on it, right? It's crusty, and you just peel that off because it's easy. But then it has this firm, really tight, but you don't want to eat it, skin, right? That's been oxidized, but hasn't gone bad yet. It didn't rot yet. Basically, that's what the nasty stuff on the outside is, just rotten skin. So you're taking off the rotten skin. Now you just have oxidized skin, rubbery skin on the onion. And you peel that off and it's really sticky. It sticks to it, right? It's hard to get it off. It's the same thing. You're just using a little bit more power to get this off. A little bit more power. Instead of subtracting or adding, a little bit more power. We divide. Okay? So we take this off, and A equals 6. We're good to go. It's that simple. Okay? Alright. Again, PEMDAS. Parentheses, none. Exponents, none. Multiply and divide. Done. Addition, subtraction. Done. So I'm going straight to transition. Do I have two variables? Yes. Are they on both sides? On either side of the equation? Yes. So, move the lowest. Which one's lower? 3 or 4? 3. What's opposite of 3? What's opposite of 3?
-3.
That's it. What do I do to one side? And it's that simple. X minus 2 equals 4. Alright, so what am I going to do to negative 2? What do I do to the negative 2? What do I do to the negative 2? Still going to ask you. What do I do with the negative 2? The minus 2? Somebody's got to give me something. Huh?
Add it.
That's right. Okay? You're going to notice I'm going to slow down. When I know you guys know this stuff, or I need you guys to know this, I'm going to slow down doing the work, and I just do what you guys tell me to do. What do you do one side, you do to the other. Okay? X equals what?
6.
That's it. Okay? Now eventually, right now I'm loving it because a few people are chiming in, but eventually I'm going to slow down the class, and this is why we can't get through all the homework, right? Because if everyone's not chiming in, then I got to slow down the class, and I got to be like, okay, Carlos, what's X? What's X? Right? And then I got to learn your names too. I'll be like, right? So I got to learn all the names, but I got to be able to ask everyone what's next. So I got to know that each of you know. Okay? But if you're all chiming in, we just move. It's quick. It's easy. And we get to do all the homework together. All right. Next problem. PEMDAS, parentheses. Can I do anything in here? No. Can I do anything with this? No. All right. Exponents?
Yeah.
No exponents. Why not? Because exponents would be up here, right? So don't. Good? Right? Okay, good. Good. Gets it. All right, now, so no exponents. So multiplication division from left to right. So I'm looking at it. So where's my first multiplication? Right here? How many agree? Right here.
Yeah.
Right? That's it, right? That's it? Is that the first multiplication? Yeah? Is it? Because you know I'm tricking you, right? You know I'm playing with you, right? You know I'm asking you an easy question because I know it's harder than that, right? You figure that out yet? This is your first multiplication. Doesn't look like it, does it? It looks like minus, doesn't it? Right? Looks like minus. But it's, remember, there's a minus 1 right here. It's minus 1 times everybody on the block. And that's where students mess up. That's where students fall short every single time. Okay? You have to remember, this is where I say everybody on the block gets the paper, right? But they got to get the whole paper. Okay? So the whole paper means this piece too. I told you the story about my brother smacking me in the head because the old lady, she didn't get her coupons. Or the old man didn't get his cartoons. Because back in the day, we actually delivered papers. I know you guys don't do that anymore. But that's what we used to do. People used to buy paper. It's funny, these things they read. Now you just look at it on the internet. Okay? But we actually used to read a lot more. Okay, so when they didn't get those coupons, they were upset. And they put in a complaint. And then they docked my brother's pay. And since my brother told me that I had to do the paper route for him, because I'm his younger brother, right, for free, or he would smack me in the head, so I did it, right, until I was old enough to smack him back. But that took a long time. So it happened for a lot of years, right? So, everybody on the block gets the paper. That means everybody in here. So, and they get the whole paper. This is the whole paper. So, this is really becoming, remember when I said, you see a minus, I want you to put a plus in front of it. Okay? Because what it's doing is a plus minus, and now I can say, okay, it's going to be 5 plus, and now we have a parentheses here, and it's going to be negative n, yeah? And what's negative 1 times negative 4? Negative times a negative is a?
Positive.
Positive. So it's a positive 4. This is also very common. Very common. Students forget the negative and positive, right? So remember, put in your cheat sheet, plus plus equals a plus. Minus minus equals a plus. Minus plus equals a minus. Plus minus equals a minus. Alright? Basic way I like to think of it is, if they're the same, it's plus. If they're different, it's minus. That keeps it simple, right? Okay. Alright, so then that equals 3 times n plus 2. Okay? And now I've got to do the next step. Remember, we still had this side to do. Now over here, well, I guess we're not doing it over here. In the long run, you can do one side and then you can do it to the other side. Does that make sense? So in other words, I could have just did it right here. Okay? I didn't have to have it like this. I could have done 3n plus 6, yeah? So if that's what you want to do, that's okay. Alright?
Wait, is it 6 or 5?
That's a good question. Is it 6 or 5? Did I make a mistake? Because I make mistakes all the time.
Just a little bit.
That's a lot, actually. That's my algebra 2s and my geometries, and, right? But no, this time I didn't make a mistake. Why is it 6 and not 5?
Because 3 times 2 is 6.
Because 3 times 2 is 6. No, it's good. Yeah, I know. And sometimes I do too. Everybody, we all make mistakes. It's a good thing. Alright, I'm going to get back to black. Alright? I'm going to put this, I want to line this up again. Can I multiply anything? No. So what do I do? Where am I at? Here. Addition, subtraction still, right? We haven't even gotten to the transition part. So I'm going to take like terms. Remember that? I talked about drawing the line under like terms. And here, I'm going to teach you a little trick. Notice how I'm pulling it this way? I'm going to pull this way. Because variables should always be first. Variables should always be first. If you get used to that now, when we get to chapter 5, it's going to be really easy. Because then, when we order up the variables, you're going to be like, oh yeah, variables go first, highest variable first, and all that stuff. Okay? And we'll learn about degrees of polynomials and all that stuff in chapter 5. But for right now, throw the variable first. The whole variable. Right? And then collect these two. What's 5 plus 4?
9.
9. Plus 9, right? Equals 3n plus 6. Alright, now I'm ready to transition. What's lower? Negative 1 or 3? Negative 1. And don't be fooled. If I ask you what's lower, negative 5 or 3, you're still going to say negative 5. You got to remember, the more negative it is, the lower it is, right? So they're going to fool you with that, or they're going to try. Alright. So negative 1, what's the opposite of negative 1? Positive. Right? Positive. So I got 9 is equal to 4n plus 6. Now what? Anybody, somebody, one buddy.
What'd you say?
What do I do next?
Minus
Sad met, right? Minus 6, good. Sad met, minus 6. Okay? So I got 3 equals 4n. Now what? Divide 4. Wait a minute. I get n is equal to 3/4. Can that be right? But that's not a whole number. is still right. Okay? Okay? And if you do like my daughter, you'll plug it back in and you'll chug it out. And the more you do that, the better your math gets. She is 13, and I bring her here once in a while. She blows away these students. A lot of my students are like, how old is she? Why is she able to do logarithms? Because she listened. I don't teach her it at home. She works hard, but she listens. I tell her, plug it in. Chug it out. And she does it. Her teachers, one teacher told her, you have to check it 3 times. You know what she did? She checked every single answer 3 times. She had 45 problems to do. She came home and was working for 5 hours straight, checking every answer. No, I'm like, honey, I think he was just kind of saying, I don't think you have to do it to understand. He's like, no. He said do it 3 times. I'm going to do it 3 times. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't care because it just made her math that much better. She just gets that much better at it. So, all right? But that's what you have to do. You have to go home. You have to work on this stuff. If you want to get better at it, if you want to be ready for college, which is what I'm pushing her to be ready for, which is what I'm pushing all of you to be ready for, you have to go home and do this. Okay? All right. Next, what's my first step? Does anyone see it? Anyone see the first step? No? All right, let's give a hint. It's PEMDAS. Good. Okay, can I do anything? No? Okay. Second, what's after parentheses? Multiplication division. Do we see a multiplication division? Yeah, where? What are we multiplying? The 2, the negative 2, right? Yeah. Yeah, we're going to multiply this. Everybody on the block gets the paper. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Oh, this is a fun one. Oh, it's not. Yeah, it's fun. This is fun. This is fun. Lots of fun. You're going to learn something right now. What do I do next? Transition, right? Okay. Move the lowest x. Which one's lower? Negative 2 or negative 2?
Negative 2.
Perfect. I like it. Okay. So let's move it by adding the opposite, right? Which is 2, right? So I add 2x and I add 2x and I get negative 4 is equal to 1. Because the x's went away. What happened? So I asked you a question. Does negative 4 equal 1? No. And that gives you your answer. Or half of it, I like to say. Half of your answer. No solution. There is not a possible answer that'll make this work. There's not a possible answer to make this work. Now, what if I would have ended up with 5 equals 5? Does 5 equal 5? Yeah? Okay? That would give you what's called infinite solution. Okay? So that's really important to look at. If you get rid of your variables and they do not match, there is no solution. But if you get rid of your variables and they do match, it's infinite. Another way to look at this is all real numbers. Okay? And that's how in math we write all real numbers. Is this R with an extra little line in it. Okay? Lots of symbols. Next year, if you get me, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do yet with geometry. If you get me,